February 2nd, Night 3. Subtitle, Long Day, Long Night. Let me tell you right now, that's a fucking understatement. There's a reason this had to be broken into 2 parts. We join Amiya this morning as he is having a nightmare about that giant fiery cataclysm that ruined his life. So, the usual. We quickly wake up feeling like shit, which is, fair. But we do hear the sounds of Sakura cooking in the kitchen already. We go to have breakfast with Sakura and Fujimura as usual. And Fujini actually notices that we seem to be in a bad mood and shows some genuine concern. We tell her, we had another nightmare because this is a regular occasion. And she tries to cheer us up in her own special way. Before we have a chance to get to school, Sakura lets us know before we leave home that she will not be able to come over this weekend because she has prior obligations. She is super suspicious about this. It clearly has something to do with this guy. This guy quickly becoming my white whale as he is easily the most mysterious person in this entire cast so far. What's your deal, brah? What's going on? She lets us know that if we really need her, we can find her in the dojo. Where's the dojo? Is it like the archery range? But then she notices something.
Senpai.
Sakura is staring at my left hand. Looking down at it, it's bleeding. I don't... Huh? I agree. Huh? Pull up my sleeve. There is certainly blood there. Weird. Doesn't hurt at all. It's just a welt on there. This welt goes straight from my shoulder down to the hand. It looks like some kind of small snake running from my shoulder to my hand. Okay, so what can this be from? Let's see. What can I blame this on? It's a vampire. It's Shinji. It's always fucking Shinji, isn't it? It's a big mosquito. It's the byproduct of time travel. It's a curse. It's foreshadowing. It's nanomachines. It's a blood snake. It's a snake made out of blood. It's the byproduct of a ghost snake bite. It's the byproduct of a tattoo snake, like in that one Power Rangers episode. No, it's a regular snake. Whatever it is, it's not nothing, and it's not a workplace accident. And with that mystery solved, we finally head off to school. While everything seems normal, Amiya feels an ominous presence. What Amiya is feeling here is clearly the Soul Eater boundary field from the prologue. And I gotta say, I'm gonna really miss these overlapping moments. I think it's pretty cool, honestly. Of course, since Amiya doesn't know about the boundary field, he does not act on it. And we skip right over a normal school day and skip right over helping Issei fix things around the school. As we're about to leave, it's Shinji Mato, that rat punk bitch. Shinji decides to continue his lifelong combo of being an asshole and decides that he's going to pass off his after-school work of cleaning up the archery range onto Amiya here, who of course agrees to do it because he is a complete doormat. This is you set me up. You did this. Lancers is yours. You both have blue hair. Admit it, you're guilty. You were trying to kill me. Now, I don't entirely agree with my past self here. It would be a pretty contrived plan to try to get rid of Amiya, and if Amiya had any sense, he wouldn't be getting caught up in this. But I wouldn't be surprised. So, at the behest of our good pal Shinji, Amiya stays well past school's closing, cleaning up the archery range, while talking to himself about the differences between carbon and wooden bows. It's all very, very fascinating. When Amiya is finally ready to leave the school, he hears a noise in the distance. Just now, I think I hear something.
確かに聞こえる。校庭の方か。
This night, I must have been curious about the sound that broke the silence. To investigate it, I find myself heading there even though I somehow know that I mustn't. I go to the schoolyard. People? Well, they only look that from a distance. It's a dark night with no light. If I want to know more, I'll have to get closer to the schoolyard. I can hear the sounds louder now. It's the sound of metal hitting metal. That must mean someone is fighting with weapons there. That's probably something else. Yeah. Just listen to it. It's just the wind. Ladies and gentlemen, we have finally returned to the plot. The epic Lancer-Archer confrontation. And while I know exactly what's going on, Amiya sure as fuck doesn't. You know what? That's a fair reaction. There is something strange there. Boy, is that an understatement. Man in red, man in blue. They are dangerously armed, as their ominous appearance suggests. They are actually slashing at each other. And then I left. Because God knows this is not a good place for me. I can't understand. I can't follow them with my eyes. My brain does not work properly, faced with their impossible movements. Interestingly, Amiya doesn't just stumble upon the fight and then speak up. He actually tries to hide his presence. Wisely, might I add. Amiya actually probably would never have been discovered if he didn't speak up in an attempt to try to defend Archer. An overwhelming amount of magical energy is flowing into the guy in blue. Kiritsugu showed me once what it's like to draw in magical energy from the surroundings. It was a beautiful magic that impressed even an amateur like me. But that thing is different. Just as even the simple task of drinking water could seem ugly if it goes too far. It's a funny image. What he is doing is so excessive that anyone with knowledge of magical energy would hate it. He's going to die. The guy in red is going to die. It's a blow with that much concentrated magical energy. There's no way he'll be able to survive it. He'll die. He's not human, so something merely like a human will die. That's something I can just ignore? That doubt takes my mind off of them. The binds of my body disappear, and that instant I take a deep breath. Interesting. Very, very, very interesting. The guy in blue stares at me. Who's hiding? The blue guy's body sinks. Just that motion tells me that I'm his target now. Great job, Amiya, you big goddamn hero. You know, I'd probably be a lot more intimidated if I didn't know for a fact that this was going to work out. I don't know how fast I run. But before I know it, I'm in the school building. I regret my actions, panting heavily. I should have run into town to get away. What am I doing, fleeing in such a deserted place? And a school of all things. Isn't there some better place to hide than here? Anyways, why do I think I'll be killed if I don't escape? My heart aches from running so much. Turning around, I can sense nothing pursuing me. The only sound in the air is the sound of my footsteps. Mia thinks he's gotten away, but, I mean, come on. I don't need to have already seen this to know that ain't true.
追いかけっこは終わりだろ
Yeah, about that. The voice comes from right in front of me.
いや、割と遠くまで走ったな、お前。
He speaks in a friendly tone. I can't breathe. My brain stops, even though I cannot think. I vaguely understand that I'm going to die.
逃げられないってのは、お前自身が誰よりも分かってたんだろ何やられる側ってのは得てしてそういうもんだ。別に恥じることじゃない。
Thanks, man. I appreciate your words of support in this trying time. Lance is casually raised.
運が悪かったな、坊主。ま、見られたからには死んでくれよ。
Oh! Interestingly, after brutally murdering us, Lancer decides now's a good time to show some dimensions. He seems really disgusted with the work he's had to do under his master. Says it's unbefitting of a hero to act in such a way. He also says that he dislikes his master, which makes it so obvious that his master is Shinji that I'm almost starting to second guess myself. Lancer leaves, and Rin arrives. Well, not that Amiya knows it's Rin. It's very fascinating to me that he is the most clueless person involved in this game, including myself. Rin's outward monologue for why she's going to revive Amiya does not quite match up to what I remember her inward monologue being.
やめてよね。なんだってあんたが。
I hear the person grit their teeth. Then they touch me without hesitation.
破損した臓器を偽装して代用。その間に心臓一つ丸々修復か。こんなの成功したら時計塔に一発合格ってレベルじゃない。
I don't remember that. Excuse me, huh? And just after proclaiming that I know what's going on, Rin decides to put me back in my place by using the term clock tower, which of course I have no idea what that is in reference to. Now that we've been miraculously revived in a pool of our own blood, the question becomes, what do you do next? Mia's first instinct, from waking up in a pool of her own blood after being stabbed with a spear, is, hey, I gotta clean this shit up. Bearing the pain, I enter the closets. I enter the closest classroom. Moving to the locker with unsteady steps to take one mop and a bucket, because I am a fucking idiot whose priorities are all kinds of out of whack. I'm still in a panic. Why do I still think I have to clean up when I've just met something totally outrageous and been killed instantly? Am I an idiot? Now, in fairness, in the long run, destroying the evidence might be a good move, but goddamn if it wouldn't be the absolute last thing from anyone's mind. After finishing the surreal task of covering up our own murder, we head home in complete agony. Amiya tries to decompress and contemplate what the fuck just happened, and whether or not it's going to be something he's going to have to worry about. He gets an answer to that second question a lot sooner than he probably would have wanted it. It is certainly your concern. You are not deciding anything, and neither am I. The bell hung from the ceiling rings. This is a mage's house, even if it's only a poor one. There's a boundary field that alerts me that when a stranger enters the property. Stupid. As I speak, I realize... Oh, there you go. I realize my foolishness. That can't be it. It's this timing right after a strange incident. That can't be it. There's an intruder. Not a burglar, but an assassin who's here for my life. Because I remember that guy saying, "You saw us, so die." Amiya knows he's in mortal danger and that running away is not going to be an option. We already saw how booking it worked out for us, and let's avoid that. If flight's not an option, means we're gonna have to fight. But with fucking what? Kitchen knives are not gonna be long enough to defend us from a lance, and anything else we could use as a weapon would be in the tool shed, so we need to get there. Other than that, the only thing long enough to even defend us from a lance would be the fucking poster from Fujimura. I mean, it is a self-defense poster after all. We use strengthening magic to reinforce the poster, and make it as strong as metal. This is something Amiya hasn't been able to do in years apparently. This success is probably due to the excess magic from Reen's pendant, and extra focus from the high stress situation. Rolled up, the poster is about as good as a sword now. And I say that increases our odds of winning this fight to a good solid 10 billion to 1. But those odds are going to have to do because Lancer gets a drop on us and we're only able to barely stumble out of the way as he tries to spear us through the head. Lancer is really annoyed. The idea of having to kill our worthless ass twice is just really disappointing to him. Personally, I'd be more interested in how the guy I stabbed through the chest, right through the heart, managed to survive and seems to be relatively fine. But I guess Lancer just ain't about that. Amiya's plan is to retreat through his window, run across his backyard and into his shed, where he hopefully keeps his fucking mech, because I don't know what he expects to find in there that will actually help him. The hopelessness doesn't get a chance to sink in, as Lancer immediately goes for the killing blow. Says blankly as if sighing it out. But the blow actually deflects off of Amiya's poster sword. It's not even that Amiya blocked it. Lancer just aimed for that spot, assuming that it was paper and that it wouldn't matter, and Amiya got lucky. Even with the lucky deflection, the lance still manages to hit Amiya's right shoulder, cutting him up. This block actually gets Lancer's attention though, as he starts to think, hey, maybe I can have some fun with this kid after all. Lancer starts toying with Amiya, attacking him with wild swings, no real intention of hitting, just making big obvious motions for Amiya to block. Amiya gets sick of this and goes for a counterattack. I swing my sword instinctively. It must take me lightly, as he hasn't pulled back his lance, so I flick away the shaft with my sword, which is blocked, and unfortunately only does more damage to Amiya's own poster than anything else. This pathetic display is enough to bore Lancer immediately again, and he decides that he's just gonna end this now. Before Lancer even gets a chance to though, Amiya throws himself back through his own window without even looking, in an attempt to escape. As soon as Amiya gets back to his feet, he swings wildly in Lancer's direction, and actually manages to deflect yet another thrust. Amiya has actually managed to knock Lancer's lance away. For the first time in the fight, things are finally in our advantage. The man who supposedly had his lance knocked away comes up to me empty-handed and spins and executes a roundhouse kick. That was really nice. The scenery flies past me. My battered chest is numb, I cannot breathe. No, more surprising is I'm flying, and never in my dreams thought that I would be sent flying by a mere roundhouse kick. Okay, so, bad news, good news. Bad news. Things are definitely still not in our advantage. Good news, he managed to kick us so hard that we landed next to the shed, so we made it. Lancer goes to casually retrieve his weapon as we desperately try to return to our feet. Just as we manage to finally get to our feet, Lancer once again goes for the killing blow. Luckily for us, we've gotten our ass kicked so bad that we aren't able to stand up long enough for him to kill us. We heroically collapse out of the way of the spear, the blow hitting the door of the shed and actually knocking it open for us. Mia manages to scramble on all fours into the shed, and then another inescapable attack comes right at him. Unable to dodge, Amiya proves that he is a fucking fighter as he manages to unroll the poster and use it as a makeshift shield. This, unfortunately though, is the last stand. This block destroys the poster entirely, turning it back to paper, and Lancer's got Amiya cornered, spear to the chest. At this point, Lancer's almost disappointed that he has to kill Amiya. He's pretty impressed with how quick-witted he is. It's a shame that he never got to be a better fighter. The running silver light. The spearhead moves straight for my heart. It will spill my blood in the next second. I know this feeling. Feeling of metal running into me. Taste of blood coming out of my throat. The sense of the world around me disappearing. I felt all of it earlier. And I have to experience it again? Really? I don't understand why. Why do I have to go through this? This is bullshit. I can't accept this. I can't just die here meaninglessly. I was saved. I was saved, so I can't die so easily. I have to live and fulfill my obligations. If I die, I can't do that. But the lance will pierce me. Spearhead will cut in my flesh and pierce my heart. Pisses me off. It's ridiculous to kill someone that easily. It's ridiculous for me to die so easily. Dying twice in one day, that's ridiculous as well. Damn, everything is so screwed up that I can't contain it, and... I won't be killed meaninglessly by someone like you! Suddenly, a girl appears and deflects Lancer's blow. Caught off guard, he makes the decision to retreat. Ladies and gentlemen, it is with great optimism and excitement that I would like to officially, once and for all, introduce you to Saber. Somehow, we have managed, for all our trials and tribulations, to make it all the way back to the very first scene in the game. And the scene plays out a lot like the prologue. Saber declares Amiya as her master. She talks about forming a contract. Amiya talks about how beautiful she is. But things seem different. Like, it could just be paranoia. They may have just written different dialogue here just to make it not repetitive. But the scene right now, as it is, Saber knows what's going on. I pretty much know what's going on. And Amiya is fucking clueless. But back in the prologue, Saber still definitely knew what was going on. I definitely had no idea what was going on yet. But the weird thing is, it almost seemed like Amiya knew what was going on. Now, maybe just in the prologue, Amiya was talking in the past tense, looking back on the scenario. Where here in the present, he's talking in the present tense, as it is happening. Alternatively, maybe I made a joke earlier that wasn't really a joke. My vague speculations aside, it is important that I let you know that my reports of Lancer's retreat were greatly exaggerated as he is now waiting in the doorway of the shed. Saber leaves the shed to meet Lancer on the field of battle. Amiya tries to stop her because there's no way a girl that small has a chance against him. And you know what? If he wants to stop her, he can be my guest. But quite frankly, I think we're better sitting this one out. While Amiya participated in what could generously be called a one-sided beatdown, this right here, this is a fight. It's a fight with Saber on the advantage right now. Lancer's having a hard time defending against her because her weapon is invisible. They both go for a killing blow. But no matter what they try, neither one can seem to make any headway against the other. Since they seem to be about equal in their combat abilities, let's check out how good they are at trash talk.
どうしたランサー止まっていては僧兵の名が泣こうそちらが来ないのなら私が行くが
Oh, fuck.
わざわざ死にに来るかそれは構わんがその前に一つだけ聞かせろ貴様の宝具それは剣か
Man glares as if staring right into her heart.
さあどうかな旋風かもしれぬし双剣かもしれんいやもしや弓かもしれんぞランサー
Would you look at that? Saber's a fucking badass. She's confident, sarcastic, clearly super tough. Shit, no wonder she's so popular. Lancer gets into the same position he was against Archer when he was going to deliver the killing blow. But before he does anything, he offers Saber the chance to call this a draw. Give themselves both some time to prepare better for this fight. He also calls Amiya senile, which is really weird. And he calls his own master a coward, which is just another point in the Shinji column. Saber declines, saying that Lancer will die here. Which, I don't know. Frankly, I think he was giving us a pretty good offer. His offer declined, Lancer rushes in.
じゃあなその心臓をもらい受ける
Stabbing at Saber's feet, which she just jumps over. But... Ah. Who you call? That's a dumb joke. With words themselves charged with magical energy. Gay bulk. I should look that up. Lance thrusts at the girl's feet, rushes towards her heart. Okay. Oof. Her body rises into the air. Wow. I can see. And just like that, Saber is dead. The story is over. We've gone completely off the rails. The girl is driven up in the air by the blow of the lance, and she crashes down. No, lands on the ground. Fuck. Okay, so what the fuck just happened? Try to stay with me on here. This is just how I understand it, or how I managed to make it work in my mind. Lancer's Noble Phantasm, his special attack if you remember, is Gay Bulk, which allows him to reverse causality on his attacks. Which is to say that Lancer can predetermine the result of an attack. So even though the trajectory of his attack here would have normally missed, because he had predetermined that his attack was going to pierce Saber's heart, the attack auto-corrected right into the heart. So this should be basically undefeatable, as it is an attack that should never miss. And yet, in this scenario, it missed, because it did hit Saber, but she was able to dodge the majority of the attack and is only wounded and not killed. I think my initial reaction still pretty much sums up how I feel about this. How does one dodge an undodgeable lance? Why, you dodge it, of course. It's a constant 2-step forward and 1 step back with this game. Lancer's ultimate attack going from completely unstoppable to mostly unstoppable in the matter of 10 seconds really killed my buzz. I understand that Lancer's ability can't actually be unbeatable, because otherwise, by definition, we would definitely lose, but you could have just described it as illusionary or teleporting or just moving in unnatural ways, which are all still great abilities, and this is still a great ability, but calling it undodgeable and then having her dodge it just makes something fantastic seem kind of mundane. Sorry, Anyway, Saber's wound actually starts healing, and she's able to identify Lancer thanks to his Gabolg attack. She identifies him as Ireland's Man of Light. I believe it's Cuchulainn. I looked it up, so can you. Despite all this, Lancer would almost certainly still win this fight if they continued, but because Saber was able to dodge his attack, Lancer's master calls for him to retreat. Or so Lancer says. I'll take his word for it. Saber goes to go after him, but is unable to due to her wounds. Mia runs over to help. Emiya starts thinking about how beautiful Saber is and starts to get mad because he thinks to himself, beautiful girls like this shouldn't be getting into fights and they shouldn't be getting hurt. And Emiya, we could have a talk. Now, at the end of my episodes, I got this creepy chart. The thing is, it's a joke. It's supposed to be funny, you know? But Mia, I don't think you're kidding. You're creeping me out, bud. And this girls shouldn't fight thing ain't great. Especially not with how much more she is clearly prepared for this than you are. At this point, they finally introduce themselves to each other. Saber is very monotone about the whole thing. She doesn't really seem to understand that Emiya doesn't understand. She says she's going to call him Shiro once he introduces himself, which he gets excited about because of course he does. She explains that once again, Emiya is her master now, and the command spell on his hand can prove it, which he hasn't even noticed yet. You know, hands are really hard to draw, aren't they? She asks Emiya to heal her, which he cannot because he is a shit magus. But he's confused because aren't her wounds already healed? Saber frowns a bit. I think I said something really wrong there. So my heart, don't worry, I only have internal bleeding. Saber jumps out of the yard to go deal with two more intruders who you should at this point know who they are. Emiya runs out of his yard to go see what Saber has to deal with and to try to stop her because he's worried about her. And he witnesses what we saw in the prologue of her almost decapitating Archer and completely deflecting off magic attacks from the other person who, for whatever reason, Emiya can't see. A sound of someone falling backwards. The magus has miraculously dodged Saber's blow, but the enemy now cannot move. Saber corners the enemy and points her invisible sword. My mind freezes. We have reached the point where the Night 3 prologue came to an end. The thing is, we ain't even halfway done the night.